and welcome to a brand new episode of Nerds United on YouTube. My name is Greg Mahochko. I am the host. Joining me as always is the co-host of the year, Mike Luther. Now, don't adjust your TV dials. We are wearing the same clothes as we were in the last video because we're recording this seconds after our last double commercial. Go check it out. Abe's Gourmet Popcorn, Frag Out flavor. That's all the plug they're going to get in this video. Mike, let's get to our topic that I decided we should split over two shows. Right here on Nerds United on YouTube. And I posed an interesting question. I thought it was interesting. You might have said, oh, damn it, why? But I posed a question to you earlier this week. I said, let's talk about, this is all speculation, just a little fun conversation, but let's talk about what happens to, spoilers, Grogu, a.k.a. the child from The Mandalorian.
Yes.
And I say spoilers because if you have not watched all of The Mandalorian Season 2, stop this video, come back to it after. Or if you already have been spoiled by the internet, and I don't mean spoiled in a good way, if the internet has already ruined your fun, then feel free to stick around and watch. But we saw at the end of Mandalorian Season 2, a certain Jedi named Luke Skywalker answered the call that Grogu put out on the sitting stone on the Jedi home world, and came and said, I'll take care of the child. I will train him. The problem we have with that, though, Mike, is that down the road, Luke's going to fail as a trainer. He sees the darkness in Kylo Ren, and as we learn in the sequel trilogy, and tries to kill his Padawan, which unleashes hell, so to speak, in a galaxy far, far away. So we have a period. We know that Mandalorian takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi. I don't know if an exact time frame was ever given for when the sequel trilogy would begin to take place. But we know that somewhere in there, Luke obviously has his failure and goes to live in isolation and in exile. We see clips or flashbacks of Luke training Leia, but we don't know much about Luke as a trainer except that, you know, his great failure being Kylo Ren. He doesn't. This is me not trying to make any negative statements, but he doesn't do a whole lot to train Rey. I think a lot of her determination is what sees her through. So when the question of Grogu comes up, we don't see Grogu obviously in Force Awakens or more specifically The Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker. So something has to happen to the young, 50-year-old young thing. We don't know what, and I think I don't know if we want to end with like way far down the timeline speculation. It is a race that lives very long. I think Yoda was something like 800 years old. Again, my numbers might be off. I don't care. But do you have any, or have you thought about, at least since I made the suggestion, have you thought about what happens to Grogu in his life, her life, maybe? I don't know.
I'm kind of thinking at one point in time, there's going to be a battle, Luke Skywalker and Grogu versus like a Darth Maul, or he's probably dead. I don't even know. Darth Vader, somebody evil, right? Or actually, let's just say Grogu and let's say Darth Maul, right? And Darth Maul is going to kill Grogu, but just wait, they think he's dead. Years later, Luke Skywalker is, he's still doing his like Skywalker Jedi thing, right? And then he sees somebody in like a green hood, and that is going to be the green hood guy he's kind of like an anti-hero, right? Like he's a hero, but he he doesn't. His moral code is kind of gray, right? Which the Jedi's black and white moral code, right? And so they're gonna battle, and then come to find out who's under the green hood. Well, it's Grogu. I think that would make a great comic book too, by the way. What do you think, Greg?
I hate you. I don't know. It's very interesting. For 2 seasons, which, if this was 20 years ago, if this was a traditional, season, like in the last episode, we talked briefly about Smallville. Smallville as a series ran, it was network. So it was 20 to 23 episodes, something like that, a season. Well, in Disney Plus, they have a little bit more flexibility, as I think most of the streaming services do, is they're not, their seasons are short and very consumable. So for Mandalorian, I think the 2 seasons combined were 18 or 20 episodes. I can't, not entirely sure where, and Mandalorian especially had a very, it didn't have to be 42 minutes because you have 18 minutes of commercials. It was, some were shorter, some were longer, and all that's fine. It felt like it was always supposed to be like Lone Wolf and Cub. It was always supposed to be Mandalorian and the child. And now that the child is gone, it does, it leads very interesting ways. And I'm excited for that. But, nobody, when Mandalorian first came out, there was no early, like right now we're seeing with Marvel stuff, like this new Lego set is giving away some of the costumes for Eternals or, things like that. But there was no, they kept the child under, as it was called Baby Yoda at the time, they kept that under wraps, same as they did Luke Skywalker's return, Mark Hamill coming out. So they're getting all that right. I don't want to know, most of the stuff. That's why we've talked in the past, like I stopped watching trailers for movies that I'm excited about after about the second one, because they continue to give more and more information away. But so I'm excited where the Mandalorian goes, but I almost think you have to have a separate show that is like the teaching of the training of Grogu. And we talked about it a little bit on the last podcast, or one of the more recent podcasts maybe, about how I thought that the CGI for Mark Hamill's face was, could have been better, However, the internet being what it is, has put out some really nice, fan art of Sebastian Stan as Luke Skywalker. And that's a show that I'd be interested to see. There's some familiarity there between Stan and Jon Favreau from their obviously time in Marvel. I don't know. I want to see more of Grogu. I want to see how the training goes. I'm obviously in. I don't care if they call it Jedi Academy or, Lone Wolf and Cub Part 3. I don't know what they would call it. I just want more of that story. And then do we ever get to see like adolescent Grogu, adult Grogu, things like that? Because there's a chance that Grogu somewhere is still alive. I mean, that species lives long enough that after the events of The Last Skywalker, he can still be out there. And what is he doing? What is he up to? Is he hanging out on Dagobah? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious with Mandalorian season 3, if there is going to be a season 3, which there is. I'm curious now that if they don't have Grogu, if they're going, okay, we're going this direction now. Grogu's gone, he's off training. I don't know. Well, I mean, okay, they have great writers, so it'll be good. But I have a feeling though that they're not going to want to get rid of Grogu. I think they're going to do something along the lines of maybe like first 2 episodes don't have Grogu, and then the 3rd episode, something happened with the training. Luke Skywalker comes back for another 3-minute cameo or whatever. Because honestly, that's about as much as you need as far as the CGI Luke Skywalker. The real Mark Hamill, lovely man. The CGI Luke Skywalker, and then it's going to be something along the lines of the training didn't go as well, or there's something else I need to do. You need to take Grogu back. Well, I'll pick him up later, kind of thing, And
then he's like the McRib, and then he's out.
And then he's out. Because I mean, I don't think you're going to have that. We don't have the technology right now to have a series, even if it's only 8 episodes or 6 episodes, with the young Luke Skywalker. The CGI is just not going to work. I don't think people would. I think people would get. It's too uncanny valley, or not uncanny valley. Just too. Yeah, I guess that's the word. Just too weird. Yes, Sebastian Stan would be good, but I don't think you're gonna replace Mark Hamill with Sebastian Stan, even if Mark Hamill says it's cool.
I mean, they did it with Alden Ehrenreich, for Solo. I think that's his name, Aiden Aldenrich, whatever. So I mean, they and then you have to ask the question: is who's more beloved, Luke Skywalker or Han Solo? And that's a very tough Star Wars fandom splitting question, I think.
That is true. And yeah, they did. Well, and the results weren't that great with Solo. Now, that might not be on the kid, Alden Ehrenreich or whatever her name was. Just could have been on the story and everything like that. One thing I'm curious about.
And part of that, too, not to cut you off, but it piggybacked on the lack of success of The Last Jedi. And what some people called Star Wars fatigue. So, like, I know Solo's not one I saw in theaters, but I enjoy it. I watched it not terribly long ago.
So I'm looking up the age of Sebastian Stan because we're saying young Luke Skywalker. Sebastian Stan ain't young at all.
Let me guess.
Okay, go ahead.
Is he older than us?
About the same.
Okay, so late 30s.
Yeah, 38.
Okay, perfect. My age. So, yeah. I mean, look, I look a lot older than I am because all the gray hair. But I think 38 is perfect age to play Luke Skywalker post Revenge or Return of the Jedi, though.
I'm not saying it's bad. Like I said, I like Sebastian Stan. Yeah, he does look a lot like a young Mark Hamill. Right wig and stuff like that on.
Does he
I just don't know if they do
me?
It. Sure. Yeah, great. And also, well, I was going to say, I don't know if they can afford them, but it is Disney and they have deep pockets. And
I was going to ask the question about like scheduling, to filming schedules, but that WandaVision, I believe, is just a one-off season, correct?
No, I thought no, maybe it is. I know one of them that is Loki just got signed on for 2.
Okay, but. What about? I mean, there's a possibility that Sebastian Stan is tied up with more seasons, more success of Falcon and Winter Soldier. I don't know.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, I mean, I'm as back to Grogu though. Like I said, there might be rampant speculation about and I guess when I initially had the idea, I thought, well, it'd be fun to talk about the character and where he's at, what he's doing. Obviously, we know he's with Luke Skywalker. He'll be training. So the question then becomes, do we, and I like your theory, maybe without the deadbeat dad, Luke Skywalker of it all. But I like your idea of him coming back. I just don't. Hi, puppy. I don't know. I don't know how you work it in. I'm on board for it. I'm curious to see how they do it, if they do it. But when that seemed to be the end of their collective arc, Mando and the child. So I don't know. I just don't know. It was an idea that I had. We're certainly open to ideas from you, the viewers. So drop some in the comments. And if you got all this way and you missed our spoiler alert at the beginning, we're sorry. But you should have, I don't know, guessed.
Yeah.
So
that's your own damn fault.
Yeah.
And you know what? On the podcast,
back at it.
We're gonna spoil a lot of stuff on the podcast. I'm spoiling 2 comic books. Greg, I don't know. He might spoil his. He might not. He's, I don't know, newer. I don't know. We're spoiling Cobra Kai. We're doing it all.
We're discussing Cobra Kai.
Oh, I'm telling you exactly. The first thing I'm going to talk about is how it ends.
Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, nerds of all ages, we thank you for watching this episode of Nerds United on YouTube. We hope that you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that you are indeed notified when we drop a new episode. That's what it's all about. Tell your friends, leave a comment, tell your friends some more, and invite them to engage in the conversation. So for the co-host of the year, Mike Luther, I'm Greg Mahochko. That's it for us. We're going to go record the audio version available at jitterymonkey.com. Be kind.
And rewind.
That's right.